My journey as a wheelchair user towards accessibility has been problematic, optimistic, and measured all at the same time. I, along with my counsel Ali Chughtai, started by narrowly focusing on development authorities to improve accessibility for wheelchair users to public buildings. In 2018, when I used to go to the Lahore High Court to press for implementation of our building codes, I was routinely subject to inconvenience, including having to be lifted up the stairs to enter the courtroom, which was not only undignified but extremely unsafe. The first 3 years that I spent litigating for this very specific purpose in the Lahore High Court turned out to be a futile exercise, with all due respect. Our voice was not heard. No development authority was subject to scrutiny. We were called unrealistic, idealistic, impractical. Our petition was clubbed and then subsequently disposed of in light of a very generic direction by the Apex Court, which ensured PWD rights. In May 2021, we revised our strategy and filed a fresh petition. This time, we not only pleaded the development authorities within Lahore, but sought for greater enforcement of PWD rights throughout Punjab. We quickly realized that we had a higher purpose, and it was just not confined to ensuring access for wheelchair users. When we approached the Honorable Justice Jawad Hassan's court, we wanted to take to task all those people who viewed wheelchair users as invisible and inanimate objects. The court proceedings opened up a Pandora's box to the fact that all facets of life for people with disabilities were severely compromised. Be it education, healthcare, employment, access to justice, there was discrimination at each and every level. Soon after, through the intervention of Honorable Justice Jawad Hassan, we formulated a strategy through which stakeholders from all relevant departments coordinated, developed and drafted a scheme in which people with all kinds of disabilities were enabled to live, were given the sort of rights which were in line with Pakistan's commitment to the United Nations Conventions, our constitution and jurisprudence. The result of all that hard work and the fruits of our labor is now the soon to be promulgated Punjab Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities Act, which inshallah when passed will not only protect people with disabilities but empower them and enable them to enjoy the same rights and privileges that are available to everybody else. We have expanded the definition of disabilities in this draft act, which includes not just visible disabilities but invisible disabilities such as ADHD, autism, and more importantly, it seeks for private and public institutions, whether employment or health related, to not only improve PWD's access but to do so in a way that they are treated separate but not equal. Now, the cynically good news. In my experience, the prejudice against PWDs is indiscriminate of gender. So any empowerment that happens in this regard hopefully will not be subject to gender discrimination. As far as employment for PWDs is concerned, we have tried to create a quota in every private and public institution for them to employ PWDs, and we have there will be a deterrent fine if they fail to do so. So do I realistically see law firms proactively hiring PWDs for employment? I am very sorry to say that I do not see that happening. Law firms generally do not adhere to any labor and employment rights for their law associates, employees, and are able to withstand any regulatory scrutiny. And I do not see a prospective PWD Act changing that anytime soon. So it is up to us to develop a conscience and be responsible to the extent that PWDs are facilitated, at least in the law arena. Law has to be reflective of the society as a whole. It has to be enriched by the experiences of everyone and every part of our social structure, our society, our community. And unless we have that kind of representation, participation, that enrichment that comes from lived experiences, we will not be able to do justice for the people who come before the court. Recently at a conference in London, I was introduced to Mr. Justice Yusuf Salim, who is the first visually impaired judge in Pakistan. His journey as a judge, his journey to becoming a judge is filled with hurdles, obstacles and stigmas purely because of his disability. After the invention of Honorable Justice Mansoor Ali Shah, he eventually was given a platform and to prove his merit, and today he is able to impart justice. His journey is a good example for all of us to see that PWDs, if afforded a reasonable platform, can perform in an equally competent manner as any able-bodied person. He still faces difficulties, which is so unfortunate, because there is a stigma attached to disabilities in our country, and if it had been in any other country, this would not have been so. So what we need to realize is how can we improve our access to and gain employment within the law arena. This will require not just the state, the judicial organs or the legislature to empower PWDs, but it falls upon all of us inside and outside this room to proactively enable PWDs to exercise their right of profession. Because ultimately, ensuring access is not just an issue of legal compliance, but a reflection of the society, the state, and our own commitment to create an environment where everybody can participate, contribute, and develop. We need to make our society inclusive. We have to break the stigma that is associated with PWDs. Disability inclusion enhances diversity because it brings together people with different perspectives, and especially PWDs who are used to overcoming barriers. I mean, give us a chance and we'll prove our worth. I promise you that. And thank you so much for your time and patience.